Maybe you should go and do some contemplating.
Right reasons, right reasons. Being for the girl for all the right reasons. Right reasons, right reasons. Being for the girl for all 4 seasons.
I'm the Bachelorette, and I'm rapping to your poolside. Here to find true love.
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
Hey there, Rose Buddies. It's Griffin McElroy, your old pal.
Well, you just said the name of the show. So
Damn
now
it, we did, didn't we?
I don't
We
know
need a
what
new
to
thing to
do.
say at the beginning of it. Let's get it started. Why did I start in that octave? Let's get it started in here.
That's actually refreshing for me because you always go so high and I have to go low.
Can you harmonize me while we sing Let's Get It Started? Ha!
All right.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it started. So you always do this.
Wait, maybe I don't know what harmonizing is.
It's where you sing 2 notes that are several steps away from each other on the same scale.
I thought that's what I was doing.
You're singing the same note, but an octave higher, my love.
Well, isn't an octave higher?
No, baby.
How many octave higher?
An octave. So let's say that's like, I don't have perfect pitch, but I'm gonna say let's say that's an F. What you were doing was la, which is also an F, and those 2 notes don't harmonize together because they're the same ding dang note.
Can I be honest with you?
Is this the first lesson in music
Yes.
theory you've ever received?
Yes.
Okay.
I took band.
You took band. You should know what harmony is.
I took band for 7 years, 8 years.
What were you doing in there?
I was playing the notes on the page.
See, you're just a cog in the corporate machine.
In the corporate machine of flautists.
I watched the movie Hackers, and I said, I want to apply that to music. I'm going to play my own ding-dang notes.
So how do people just intuitively know how to harmonize?
They listen to a lot of Barber Cop Quartet. So that's when 4 cops get... This is Rose Buddies, which is a podcast where we talk about the Bachelor, Bachelorette franchise.
Can
the
we
whole
talk more
line of
about the hit
products.
new movie we just developed called Barber Cop?
Yeah, sure. We'll get back to it. Who's in it? Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Yes. Not Kevin Nash, but sure, what the fuck? Why not? Kevin Nash, you can be in this one too. Who's the smaller man who's always on his hustle? Whose name is escaping me right now?
Kevin Hart,
Kevin Hart, Kevin Nash. It's
who was in an episode of The Bachelor.
Oh, sweet Lord, you're right.
Bachelorette?
Nope, Bachelor with Ben Higgins.
Okay.
So let's talk about today's episode, because I'll be straight up. I'll tell it to you, buddies, like it is. I sold you a false bill of goods. So this episode was going to be a real stinker. And I think this one was actually one of the best episodes of the season. I had a great time consuming it. And that might also be because I drank a lot of wine for the first time in a while.
I think it was good. I don't know that I believe it was as good as you thought it was.
There were a lot of moments that caught me by surprise.
Well, yeah, that is true. There were a lot of shocking moments.
And we're going to get to them. But 2 people had sex with a horse. Not okay. On adjacent to, but it definitely involved the horse, right? Like
Coincidentally, 2 people went home. Same people? No.
no,
Not at all.
baby, because JoJo was one of the people.
I didn't know how much of a fiction we were creating.
Oh, mine wasn't. Mine was completely real.
Nobody had sex
Let's
with a
get
horse.
into this fucking steamy, equisy little quiche we got brewing up.
So we're still in Argentina this week.
Yes, we are.
Unlike other seasons, they are not hopping country to country every
They've
episode.
been hopping around a lot. I think this is the first place, maybe not country to country, but this is the first place that they've
They've been
like,
in
stayed
Argentina
at.
for a couple episodes now.
Yeah, this is the 2nd episode. They might pop to somewhere else next week. You don't know.
Yeah, although usually when they're going to do that, they end the cocktail hour with like,
Well, it was a fucking
we're
emotional...
going to whatever.
There were a lot of emojis in this rose ceremony, and you couldn't just have her like wipe off her tear-stained face and walk back inside and say like, okay, Cabo.
I say emotions.
Emotions is fun too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna go somewhere else, but we're still in Argentina.
Yes.
Maybe in Buenos Aires.
The episode starts with Chris Harrison saying that there are no longer going to be roses on one-on-ones, but there will still be a rose on the group date.
Let's talk about not Ben Harrison. God, I got Benji on the brain today, don't I?
Let's
Let's talk about Chris Harrison's just like casual look with some chinos and just like a little like a quick throw over like Argyle jacket and then like a very casual tee under there, I think.
I have a very specific ambition to interview Chris Harrison only because I haven't seen anybody that addresses the question that I have, which is, what is he doing all day?
What you doing? Hey, what you doing back there, Christopher?
Like, we know he used to be right up in the thick of it.
Because it sounds like he's got kind of a posh gig going right now. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
he gets that money, son. I'm sure he gets that paper
Like
very
11
much.
minutes of work.
11 minutes of, if even that.
Oh, you know what?
ma'am.
He does that millionaire show now, I think.
He does the Millionaire, so that he probably is keeping busy.
Yeah.
I bet, but it's probably like 4 days on the Millionaire set, knock out Thursday and Friday together, gets over to Bachelor Mansion. I'm saying he flies in, catches a limo to the house, is like, straight up, I'll catch you at the rose ceremony, flies out, does another Millionaire, flies back, knocks out the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
I think he probably just like gets high a lot with the producers.
They just announced he's hosting the Miss America pageant again, too.
I don't want to make it. I think just weed. I don't want to make it sound like he has like a pill problem or something like that. I think Chris Harrison probably just like loves to just toke up and hang out with the video
What
crew.
makes you think that exactly?
You know that shit's going on like behind the scenes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a 24/7 Cheech and Chong Fest. Cheech and Chong Fest up in there. Just a lot of that good green stuff. I think Chris Harrison smells it and he's like, hey, you guys aren't... Just kidding. I'm not a cop. I'm Chris Harrison, the host of The Bachelorette. Pass me that Duber when you're ready.
Perfect.
I kicked a bag.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I ate a lot of Mexican casserole tonight and my tummy's very full. If we're being honest, if we're just putting all our feelings out there.
And that's why you kicked a bag?
I ate 2 churros as well and half an empanada. Holy shit, baby, I'm a mistake.
So JoJo... Oh, wait, all right.
Just throw on my phone. I didn't want it to get in the way of the... it produces signals, and if those signals touch the mic, then it causes static. Also, I was just going to hunt for Pokemon in my office the whole time. You know me.
Okay, so the guys are going to a new location still in Argentina. And Chris Harrison shares with them that one of them will get to accompany JoJo in a car while the rest will go on a bus. And who is the lucky winner of that posh one-on-one date in the car? It is Alex.
I couldn't tell if you were being facetious when you said lucky.
I am.
Okay, because that's a shit date.
Yeah.
Come on a road trip with me for like a while. We don't know each other super good, but that's fine.
Like 99% of the time, the dates are, let's do an activity together that will give us something to talk about so it's not uncomfortable.
Have you ever had to drive a very long distance with somebody that you did not know very well at all? Just you two, just the two of you? Just
No.
Like, I have a couple times, like for work stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like bad. It's just uncomfortable because you don't know them. In the like the icebreaker games, they only last
Well,
for
yeah,
so
they
long.
like can't listen to music because they're trying to record them, so they're just sitting there in silence together.
I know they can't put on a podcast. It's not royalty free.
The one moment they have that I found charming was they're eating Pringles together.
I mean, yes, we just had a trip to South Padre Island. It's beautiful. Thank you, South Padre, for having us. And we ate 2 canisters of Pringles on the way. Man, those guys are good. They did try to kiss each other with the Pringle lips, and I saw that, and I said, "Oh, wish you'd stop. I wish you'd stop." Because those are crisps, and you're not supposed to do that with those.
That's like from the commercial. They put the little duck.
Who can forget the classic commercial? I believe it was Super Bowl 2000. We were all very raw still after Princess Diana's passing, and that commercial really brought us back together.
2000 was significantly after.
I was
Princess
still fucking raw about it.
Diana. Okay.
And that seeing people kiss those greasy crisps together, I saw that and I took my bag of combos I was eating and I threw it in the garbage. I went out and bought Pringles right then, and I stopped crying for the first time in 4 to 6 years. Can we talk about the quick little, just fun little freestyle session?
Yeah, so the guys are all on the bus together. And there's been a lot of inexplicable singing this season, which I think is due largely to Luke and James Taylor, who are performers by trade.
Or I have a theory I want to float, but it's going to take me a while, so let's describe this situation
Okay.
first. It's a fucking good theory.
Okay.
I said freestyle. It was not a freestyle. This was the fruits of what was potentially a 13-hour bus ride, and they all had the time to write this 24-second long rap song.
Yeah.
Which was all about how Alex is short And if they were riding in a motorcycle and he was in the sidecar, which is just factually inaccurate.
And that he would need a stool.
He would need a stool to get up in the sidecar because he's a smaller man. Very fun. And then it cuts over to Alex and JoJo and their freestyle rapping, which is crazy because it's a different mode of transport. But it was not very good at all.
No, it wasn't. And we get a lot of footage of Alex and JoJo not talking, which makes me wonder if at some point the producers were just like, you guys have to do something.
Okay, now talk for real, they said.
Please do anything.
Yeah, Alex makes a comment about how, like, this is obviously not ideal. Yeah, bud. What's the best rap that's been on The Bachelor? I mean, it's our theme song, isn't it?
It's our theme song, duh.
We've never talked about that on the podcast, I don't think ever.
We haven't.
Should we just keep not talking about it?
I mean, it's pretty easy to find.
Des on Dez's season,
Soulja Boy is a
she
guest.
tasked the boys with doing a hip hop music video feat Soulja Boy.
It was a group date with Soulja Boy.
And what happened there was so unspeakable. We could not use it as the theme song to our podcast. Mm-hmm. Here, can I hit my theory just really quick?
Okay.
I think these boys really like each other. I think they're all very, very good friends, and I think they had a lot of time to kill. And I think that we've reached a point in this show's history now where the people on it are so meta because they can't not be. Like, they understand what it's like to be on the show and how many people watch it and how people consume it. And so I think the boys who, like, got together and got, like, along really, really well thought, like, how can we make ourselves the most, like, memorable characters? Like, what things can we all do? And what, like, jokes can we keep running throughout this entire season? And first of all, I think this explains the singing, because I think this is my weaker argument, that I think it explains the singing and why they're always singing and why they're always doing dumb songs together, because I think they get bored and that's how they entertain themselves, knowing that, like, how fucking weird is it that all these grown-ass dudes are just, like, writing all these love songs?
I don't think they're thinking about the show, though, when they do that.
But undeniable. The haze in the barn, the pigs in the castle. I'm not fucking kidding. Episode 1, they were like, what if we, like, came up with some idiom and we said it in every episode and we just sort of, like...
I guarantee you that after we publish this episode of Rose Buddies, we will get feedback from listeners.
Feedback from listeners who have been long conned, like Agent Smith Matrix brainwormed, like this was injected into them by Chad somehow. Like, Chad used some sort of crazy Instagram hashtag that, like, hypnotized America.
And all the time you say phrases like, Bob's your uncle.
That's a British thing. That's real. That's legit.
And Swan to John.
That's a Clint McElroy Ridge, yeah. But haze in the barn, pigs in the castle. I would be on board with you that maybe it was a real thing, except I've never heard it before, and they say it every fucking episode. I'm telling you, it is fakey fake bullshit, and they're trying to get it in the consciousness of America, and they're succeeding.
I feel like this is one of those things where, like, 15 years from now, when you're crazy paranoid about a lot of things, they're going to ask me.
This is where it starts?
Yeah, they're going to ask me when it started.
Had you ever heard the term haze in the barn, pigs in the castle before in your life?
No, but I haven't heard half of the country expressions that you use on a regular
folksy
basis.
that way. That's fine. If they had said it in one episode, I would have been like, oh, that's some Bastrop shit. We got married over there, but we don't really, like, get over there that often. Every episode... I think these boys, like, got together and are having some fun, and I love that. I love thinking that. Like, I'm not mad.
It's possible that, like, maybe Chad invented it, and now they all say it. It's like a little inside joke about Chad.
That would be okay, too. Except Chad wasn't the first person to say it, I don't think. We'd have to rewind the tapes. Haze in the barn, pigs in the castle. So good. Anyway. It was a really bad car ride.
So Alex and JoJo, when they get out of the car, they're going on a date where they get to learn how to be gauchos, which are Argentinian farmer rancher people.
Romantic cowboys.
Yes. Carlos and Oscar are their guides.
Damn, baby, that's some good notes you did.
As I'm a very busy lady while the show is on. So Alex dresses up in their uniform, which is like a little beret and some riding pants.
Somebody on Twitter said he looked like Lord Farquaad from the Shrek movie, and I saw that and I thought, how wooed.
And so we find out it's going to be a horse date. They both get on horses.
it's just going to be a horse date.
It's going to be a horse date.
Outside of the context of this show, if you saw Coming Soon, but you did not know to which media it was coming soon.
Clint Eastwood.
Horse date.
Stars in.
Or a new thrilling first-person shooter from Electronic Arts. Horse date. I
No.
don't know.
No.
You're shooting hearts at horses to make them kiss.
Okay. I like that.
I like that very much. Coming soon to ABC. Horse date. All the horses that have ever been on Bachelor or Bachelorette. We're going to make them just do it.
What if it's just like two horses they use over and over again? They fly all over the world.
That's,
Is that crazier than your Hayes in the Barn
it's
conspiracy?
10 times crazier.
Okay. So they're on this horse date, and then the gauchos do a demonstration where they show how they make a horse submit to their every will.
That's almost a direct quote. Guys, there was some uncomfortable stuff.
So they show how this very calm man kind of lays hands on a horse, and then it lays on the ground and rolls on its back and like lets itself be positioned with the man under it. And then after the man does this little demonstration and JoJo and Alex are just loving it, he calls them over and says, "You can spoon with the horse now."
Which, like, would you? No cameras, no TV show. Me and you, horse date, gaucho, Oscar. You can spoon with the horse
Are
now.
you wearing the uniform?
Of course I'm wearing the fucking uniform.
Okay.
Have I ever turned down a beret that was handed it to me?
I don't know.
No is the answer.
Okay. Would I lay my body on a horse?
Would you... Let's just use the direct terminology. Spoon a horse or be spooned by one. That's a whole nother kettle of fish. Big or little spoon.
See, I would be big spoon with a horse
I would be big spoon too because I would be afraid.
because they're
of-
used to people on their back.
Yeah.
But-
and also I think if you get a horse going down there, to quote, I'm just saying to quote the delicious, life-changing motto of Pringles, once you pop the fun, don't stop.
Oh.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But no, I don't think I would be Little Spoon.
I don't think I would. I would as long as I gave that bit some clearance, then I would totally do it.
Did you say bit on purpose? Because it's kind of like a horse.
That's kind of fun.
Kind of like a horse fun word.
They lay on this horse.
So they lay with the horse, and Griffin was really excited about it.
Well, it's something really. Rachel went to get some Mexican casserole, and while she was gone, she was like, "Take some notes." And so I took very detailed notes. Do you just want to read the whole paragraph I wrote there of what happens? Because he says they're talking about how Alex is JoJo's gaucho. Only he doesn't quite say that, does he?
Apparently, according to Griffin's notes, it says, quote, Alex said, "I'm your Gucho," while kissing JoJo over a horse, his crotch right in the horse's nose.
Just so much beautiful things happening. And one, I'll be your Gucho. Bro, you've been here all day. We've been here all day together. We have said the name of the profession 30 times, Alex. I'm the Gucho now. Look at me in my powerful Gucho hat. I'm gonna make a horse fall.
When Griffin explained that note to me when I returned to the table, he said it was so nice when a moment makes itself so clear to be the title of our episode.
Yeah, this one's called... Wait, what was the direct quote?
I'm your Gucho.
That's the exact words?
You didn't write anything after Gucho.
I'm your Gucho. Baby, look at me in the eyes. Baby. I can only see one of your eyes. The other one's behind the pop filter. I'm your Gucho.
I can only see one of your eyes.
Hey, really, try again. Now you pop your head up. I'm your Gucho. I just gave somebody ASMR.
Meanwhile, the guys that are not on this date go to some kind of meat stand, and they're all eating
And they're
meat.
complaining about it.
Yeah, Jordan is like, hey, I'm a picky eater, and there's a bunch of random meat, and we don't know what it is.
Fuck off. It's barbecue. They're not trying to poison you.
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah, I guess I probably would. What happened next? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, Alex and JoJo's date kind of just winds down. They're like they go, they have glasses of wine, and JoJo says she's grateful to have this time with Alex.
And if memory served, that was the end of the date, and they just kind of went their separate ways, just
Well-
smiling and whistling, and having a great time. One thing we need to set up. Before this started and Chris Harrison came out in a fucking pair of sweatpants and a greasy tank top, he came out there and he said, there are no roses on the one-on-one dates, so you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Griffin took a lot of issue with this because of what happens to Alex in just a moment. But, I mean, expectations are set that typically, yes, somebody does not go home by surprise. Yet it happens a lot.
It happens all the time, but not like...
It's not like Chris Harrison is like held liable for...
No, but he's specific. I mean, there's no debating this. He specifically said, if you're on that one-on-one date, there is no rose, so you just chill because you're not going to get sent home by not getting a rose on the one-on-one date. Yeah, she can send anybody home whenever the fuck she
He didn't
wants.
specifically say you're not going to get sent
That
home.
is how it hit me because and it's I guarantee.
So who do you blame
you,
for that? You blame Chris Harrison for that?
I do. That's what he said. Alex definitely it hit him that way too because Alex says.
So Alex just thought maybe I can like get my penis out and I can fart a bunch and whatever. There's nothing she can do.
No,
So
they
I
don't have
definitely get to
fucking
stay.
diplomatic immunity.
That's what you're acting like.
No, it's not what I'm acting like. I'm saying he specifically laid out a scenario where you go on this one-on-one date, you guys are going to get to hang out, have a conversation, have some dinner. I mean, anybody could get sent home at any time. JoJo could just kick in the door during the cocktail party and be like, fucking Bryce, Dylan, Ezra, get the fuck out of here. Like, there aren't boys named that. She'd be like, who said that? Me and James Taylor? You're gone. That's what you get. Like, yeah, she could do that at any point. I'm saying the scenario as it was described to the boys there was, there's no roses on the one-on-ones, so just have a good time. Obviously, they're not going to get their dicks out and fart on them.
So I don't know what you're mad about then, I guess.
Because Alex says, I'm falling in love with you. And JoJo says, oops.
Yeah, JoJo says, I don't think I feel the way I'm supposed to feel when you said that.
And basically says, like, I could keep you here the whole week, but the good thing to do would be just send you home right now. And Alex looks completely, like, shaken, and he says, I just assumed because there wasn't a rose on this date that this wasn't going to happen.
That I would automatically get to stay because Chris Harrison implied as much.
Not that he was going to get a rose, that he was just going to get to stay until the rose ceremony. I think...
Are you mad at Chris Harrison?
I mean, no, I'm not mad at Chris Harrison. I guess I'm mad at the process. I'm not mad at all. I'm just saying, like, this was savage. This was brutal. This was a brutal send-off. First of all, because she just kept Alex and James Taylor there, which, spoiler alert, why the fuck?
That is. And we talked about that, honestly, I think on our last Rose Buddies Without the Z episode, is that, yeah, clearly Alex isn't going to win. I don't know why
Nor
she kept
James
him.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Nor Chase. Nor Robbie. And that's about as far
I
as
feel
I'm
like
willing
Robbie, I don't know.
to... I don't know. But yeah, so Alex gets sent home and he's bummed and he's also
upset.
a little bit pissy about it. And I think I totally like I've said and laid out, like, I think it was a bit, you can't blindside somebody on this show, right? Like you send somebody home, that's your prerogative. You can do it whenever you want. And
Can I say, though, this is what you love so much about Ben.
I'm saying this was the first time, I think, since I've watched this show, that I felt like the rules, if you want to call it that, were laid out in one direction, and then it didn't go in that direction. Like, this was the first time where somebody with the show, Chris Harrison, said, just chill on this one-on-one, bro. It's going to be totally aces. And then the other person involved with the show, The Bachelorette, said, nah, fuck that noise. You told me you're in love with me, and I don't, and I'm gone. At the same time, it's the right thing to do, right? Like, she's not feeling it, and he just said, I love you. Like, you gotta go in that situation. I'm just saying, that's a raw deal, man.
I don't know how it could have gone any differently, because that's what we talked about. Remember, I was like...
If he hadn't said it.
Yeah, if he hadn't said I was in love with you, she might have kept him, but then she just would have gotten rid of
Until
him at the rose
Thursday,
ceremony.
yeah.
So she really is kind of saving him some time. The other sad thing is that since they're out on this ranch, there is no limo. So he hops into a pickup truck and we don't get like a little exit speech,
No.
which is a shame.
No, very terse.
So Alex is gone. And then we find out that the other person getting a one-on-one date. Well, there's going to be 2 more one-on-one dates. The first one goes to Jordan. Surprise, surprise.
I have a surprise. I feel, yeah, I guess not. I mean
you
he's
could tell-
he's very handsome.
With Alex, she picked him because she knew that he hadn't had one yet.
Yeah,
And now she's just going back to her faves.
yeah.
So her and Jordan are taking a private jet out to this kind of resort spa area with a vineyard. And they're crushing grapes with their feet.
The most horrible thing happens. The most horrible thing happens where they do this into a bucket. They do this act. And the whole time we're laughing, thinking of the Grape Lady video because it's very good. It's still very good.
Yeah,
Go
if
watch
you
it,
haven't
gang.
seen it, go look
Everyone's
it up
seen
on
it. It came
YouTube.
out.
I hadn't seen it till I met you.
That's what you just said to me was the craziest thing you've said to me. That was like proto internet, like the first meme. Back when we saw that word and we're like, Meme? What's they stomp grapes with their feet into a bucket. And I think, okay, this is like a fun little flirty. And then they get 2 big old wine glasses and they scoop up their leavings.
I called it foot juice.
Foot juice is an excellent way to describe what they've created here in this bucket that they scoop up into a glass. And they say, oh, it's chunky. And if you say that about your juice or your wine or your fluid, then there's no situation where you want fluid to be chunky unless it's soup. And this was not. Your foot had just touched this. That's awful. That's not how fucking wine works.
I thought it was like kind of a fun, like a little bleachable moment on The Bachelorette where they were gonna like pretend they were gonna drink this, but they actually did.
They did it with their mouths and it went in them, and then they said, that's actually really good.
Yeah, and then they went back for a second sip. Strange. I mean,
That was that made me want to have a bleachable moment, by which I mean I wanted to drink bleach and get that moment out of my brain and my heart. Because there was...
Hey, Griffin,
Yeah.
would you drink my foot juice?
Fuck no. Are you kidding me?
That really hurts.
Would you drink my foot juice?
Yeah.
They were walking... I'm on the edge of my seat right now, and I'm making like a bird shape with my hand, like a beak that I'm like pecking at Rachel out with. They were walking around this fucking ranch with their bare ass feet in the dirt and the loam and the grass and probably the parking lot. And then they put those feet...
They weren't barefoot the whole time. They took their shoes right off before they got in the grapes.
There was skin to dirt contact, and then they got into the grapes, and they mooshed them around. Were the grapes washed? God, let's hope so. But their feet most certainly weren't. That's horrible. That's not how anybody who's ever fucking Ben Flagenic, who owns a vineyard, was probably like watching that going like, that's not how any of this fucking process works. It's never works like that.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying that if somebody gave me 2 glasses to choose from and said, here is a glass of wine from a bottle we just opened. It's a really wonderful Pinot Noir. And here's Griffin's foot juice. I would choose
the Pinot.
Yes. But if we were on a date together on television and I was handed a glass of your foot juice, I mean, I'd probably drink it.
Pay me.
I'm just saying JoJo's really into Jordan and she wants his foot juice.
Yeah, no, I guess that's really the takeaway from
And
all
I
this
guess-
is that if Jordan doesn't fucking win now,
I guess maybe I'm just more into you than you are into me.
you're more into dysentery than I am. It's just like the first people, like the first, like, I don't know, like Italian cavemen or something, I guess, who ever made wine would watch this and being like, no, you don't drink it right away.
No, I know. I mean,
The
obviously.
first Italian caveman that made wine, like, stomped in it in a bucket, and they're like, well, now what? Do we just drink it? And another Italian caveman was like, no, we should probably, like, strain it and clean it and put it in a barrel for a bit.
I understand that that's not how people typically drink wine. I'm just saying my love for you is so great that I would drink your foot juice.
How deep does that rabbit hole go, babe? Please say that's the deepest. Please say we've reached the bottom of it.
I can't think of any more extreme example than that.
Would you eat my sweat burger?
don't know for sure what I'm committing to anymore.
Well, apparently, all fucking bets are off. Oh, but what's wrong, babe? I thought you loved me more.
Is it a burger you make with your sweaty hands?
Huh, you even have to ask. I guess that love can't be too true and real. Jeez.
Okay. So after they have this exchange of fluids, they talk a little bit about Jordan's family.
Okay, gang, buckle the fuck up.
Yeah,
this was maybe the most shocked this show has ever made.
I don't know how this didn't get spoiled for us. I don't know how we didn't get teased on
It
this
makes
nugget.
sense though. Like, this is some legit Sixth Sense twist ending shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, the clues were there the whole time.
Yeah, so Jordan hasn't talked much about his family, and everybody knows that he's Aaron Rodgers' brother, but he doesn't talk about it much. And when the guys do, they talk about it as just like Jordan's so entitled because his brother's super famous. So
On camera, that's how they talk about it. There's literally, I mentioned this after this revelation happened, there's a 0% chance that he has not talked about this thing with the boys in the house.
So Jordan starts talking about how he hasn't brought a woman home in years, and his oldest brother, Luke, and his French bulldog, Carl Weathers, which I thought was funny.
He talks about his mom and his dad and his brother...
His older brother.
Luke, and the dog. And then he's like, and then...
I think JoJo was like,
I forget
and your
who
other
Bridget-
brother, Aaron.
And no, he says, and then my middle brother, and she's like, Aaron. And he's like, yeah, Aaron. We don't actually, I have a great relationship with the rest of my family. I don't really have a relationship with Aaron. And like,
yeah, he says they don't talk at all. That Aaron doesn't know that he's on the show right now.
which is like, hey, Aaron, I've got a cool television show for you to watch. Turn it on channel 8, bud. There's some crazy dope shit happening that you're not going to believe.
This blew both of us away.
There's so many things about this that blew us away.
Yeah.
I am not one to like talk about family stuff on this show because I feel like that's an element of realness that I don't like to dive into unless it's like unequivocally good stuff like was it Chris's family that lives out on a farm and they play hide and go seek. That's fun. That's a cool family. JoJo, your mom drinks wine straight from the bottle. That's the best fucking thing I've ever seen. That's a cool family. I don't want to say like this is a lie, but if it's true, it's one of the wildest things I've ever heard coming from a television show. Because like, how does that happen that they don't know that you're on a reality television show and that everybody knows you as the Green Bay Packers quarterback or Aaron Rodgers' little brother?
Well, and what's weird is that Jordan doesn't speak to any kind of specific moment. He talks more about this kind of general trauma of being compared to his brother his whole life.
And that Aaron basically didn't choose family over, like he didn't choose to be with his family. He chose, it was all very abstract.
Well,
but
that Aaron was the best and that Jordan was never going to be as good as Aaron.
But that Aaron chose football essentially over family and like this life of fame and has like lost touch with the family.
See, I missed that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's kind of what he intimated. It's like bonkers that this didn't come up before. It absolutely came up before with the boys, and yet this scene was preceded by a little montage of all the guys talking about, you know, if I could get Super Bowl tickets, then I bet she'd like me better. Luke was throwing some serious shade on JoJo, kind of, by saying all this stuff about like, oh, well, if I could get her Super Bowl tickets, I bet she'd like me better. Wow, man, I bet you don't really think a whole lot of her then, if you think that's why she's like sticking with this dude, Jordan.
Luke and Chase were talking, and they were talking about all the hype for Jordan before the show even started.
And it's like, it's certainly true. I'm not going to pretend like that's not true, but like, if I said that about you, like, if that's a shitty thing to say about her, right? Like, oh, she only likes him because he's a football player and can get her stuff and can let her hang out with Olivia Munn.
So if you were going to say that about me,
yeah, I don't know how that situation would work out. This was genuinely like kind of shocking, but at the same time, like he has never talked about Like, only other people on the show have talked about it.
I just assumed it was because he knew that it made him seem potentially, kind of spoiled and entitled, so he purposely didn't want to talk about it.
There's the thousands of hours that he spends with all those boys and their best friends coming up with maymays behind the screen. Like,
I'm really
behind the
curious.
scenes, like that. So day one, at minute one, holy shit, you're Aaron Rodgers' brother. That's awesome. What's he like?
You know
What's
how
Olivia
it
Munn
came
like?
up? It came up because JoJo was asking who all would be there.
At hometown, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when Jordan said Aaron's
not going to be
gonna
there. There's no way that he didn't talk about it with the other people in the house. And if that's the case, I don't see how he has that conversation without saying, "Oh, me and Aaron don't really like, we don't really see each other that much. We don't, we don't really have a great relation." But if that had happened, then all the boys probably wouldn't be in the middle of every behind the scenes interview with them. Wouldn't bring up like, "Oh, he's just here because his brother's a football player."
Yeah, so it must not have happened. He must not have.
But it has to have happened. There's no way it didn't happen.
Jordan's not especially a very sharing kind of guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
I am curious to see if Aaron Rodgers gets asked over the next 48 hours or so and comes out and says something like, "Now, Jordan and I talk all the time." That's not true.
If that's true, that's a wild gambit.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, I don't really talk to my dad that. Yeah, you do. I'm right here. We're playing cards together right now. Yeah, that was very, very, very surprising.
You want to know what my conspiracy theory is that I'm just now developing as I'm speaking?
Please, yes.
Jordan said that specifically to push JoJo away if she were after the fame. So said, "Oh, you know what?
think A-Rod is going to show up at the hometown?"
Yeah,
Be
like if that's why you're here, I want you to know Aaron's probably not going to be there." So
that's interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
And
I
if that's
just came
true,
up with
then
that.
he thinks less of JoJo than fucking Luke does.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just coming up with that right now.
Maybe I am rooting for Robbie. Fuck. What else happened today?
Jordan says that he's in love with her.
Oh yeah, it was big.
It was a big moment.
Let's
And then they make out a bunch.
We got to get to that group take because it was about 50 minutes of the episode.
Okay, so the next day it is raining very hard. They are in Buenos Aires and they are hanging in the hotel. We don't know what was canceled. Clearly something was
got
canceled.
canceled, y'all. This rain was torrential, and they came into the hotel, and JoJo literally said, "We have everything we need here for a great slumber party." It's what are you talking about? It's noon.
It's a group date with James, Robbie, and Chase.
The B team.
And she says, "We're just going to hang out in this hotel suite.
The JV squad.
And I have all the makings here for a slumber party," which from what I can tell is just a bunch of alcohol and food. And then there's a clipboard or not, what are those called?
Like a Pictionary board, like an
Yeah.
easel. Yeah, they play some fun games.
Yeah.
James Taylor sticks a horrifying amount of French fries in his mouth.
Approximately 25 French fries in his mouth. The guys kind of love this because nobody really made him do it. He just thought it
just
would
started
be
doing it.
this great impressive thing, and they all were like, "That's not what anyone wants to see."
Boy, I am so over James Taylor to the max.
Yeah, there's a weird moment on the date where James Taylor starts to try and throw shade at Robbie for looking at other women.
And and remember the last time
While
James Taylor-
Robbie's standing right there.
Yeah, and he's doing it in a fun way. We were walking down the street and there were these Brazilian models, and Robbie just kept looking at him.
He said we call him WER, Wandering Eye Robbie, which no they don't.
No, that's not anything.
not a
Nobody's
thing.
ever called anybody anything like that in your whole fucking life, James. Yeah, I wasn't so into him when he went on this weird turn of nobody loves me. I'm James Taylor. All these men are perfect specimens. They all look like they climbed out of some multiplicity slime. Why didn't I get the memo about the fucking haircut? But now, this, I don't know, he's in this weird downward spiral of, I'm going to lose this game,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to be sad about it and then make the most
Yeah.
half-hearted shade-throwing attempt. What else happened? Oh,
Meanwhile,
Robbie.
Robbie gets a dare to strip down to his underwear and run through the hall, which he does proudly, and then shows his butt.
And shows his butt. Can I say something?
Yeah.
I was so hating on this date when it first started happening because instantly I was like, something got canceled and they're just trying to like make it seem like they're just having a fun little party. They got room service and they got like 4 little plates of food and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's everything we need. There's 4 of us and 4 plates. How great. This turned out to be like what seemed like one of my favorite dates because first of all, they all got tanked and then they ate this food and they played these weird truth or dare games. And then they watched the Argentinian Bachelor,
Yes,
I think.
it was on TV. They're all laying in bed
I wasn't
together.
sure what the nation of origin of this Bachelor
They
was.
said Brazilian Bachelor.
Oh, okay. It was fucking amazing. Like this. Oh, shit. I mean, all the Pictionary stuff they were doing were all things from The Bachelor. So like, they were drawing like a stick figure and then somebody drew like 2 big muscles on it and somebody was like, oh, Chad. And that was right. And then like they were playing, charades and somebody, and what was amazing about it is that they all got them seemingly instantaneously.
Yeah.
So like James Taylor made like a little basket with his arms and got down low to the ground and started to go up. And somebody was like, oh, a hot air balloon. Because yes, absolutely.
And they were playing
Celebrity.
where they were holding pictures over their head. And was it somebody said it's okay.
Yeah,
and
the
they
card
guessed
was
Juan Pablo right away.
and fucking James Taylor lays down the best, like, it's okay. Because if you did not watch that season, Juan Pablo said that.
All the time.
And that is not like us throwing shade. That's a literal numerical quote, hundreds of times per episode. Yeah, it seemed like they had like a lot of genuine fun on this date, except for James Taylor being kind of a heel. And then Robbie got
Yeah, Robbie gets the
win.
group date rose. Eventually, she takes them all aside and has a little one-on-one time with each of them. And Robbie talks a little bit about his family and alludes to this ex that he dated over 3 years that his family didn't like.
And they're talking about it, and she's like, when did you guys break up? And he was like, oh, December, which was 4.5 months ago. And you could see like I almost said abacus, that would be mean. You could see the wheels spinning and JoJo's head like trying to figure out like, when did this dude apply for this television program?
Chase talks about how he's nervous, but he says, and I quote, I do want to spend the rest of my life with you.
We've talked about that, right? That hard.
Yeah, the
that,
weird emphasis they put on
do.
phrasing.
The
Yeah.
disingenuous do.
James goes a little bit softer and says that he is, quote, very much in the process of falling for you.
Oh my God. None of those words mean anything. The best part is James Taylor and we missed this. We had to get confirmation from Twitter because we were not watching it at a DVR equipped house. But apparently he said, he was talking about his family. He's like, oh, well, my dad, Jim, he's also James Taylor. And it's like, come on. It's gotta be him, right?
I know. Well, don't Google it, because if you do, you're disappointed, because James Taylor at least does not claim that he also has a son named James Taylor.
It said, my name is James Snow. That's a Game of Thrones joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But maybe he's the son of Snow, who did Informer.
Oh, see, I know that one.
My dad wrote and performed the song Informer, and he was really influential on me.
That's why I'm such a gifted lyricist.
That's exactly why. A licky boom boom down.
So then we cut back to the guys talking, and James Taylor talks about how he's not a front runner. And everybody's like, well, why would you be here if you thought that? And James Taylor's like, well, I don't give up.
Stay in the pack, man.
Yeah.
I'll fight. I love to fight, and I'll always stay in it. That's a silly question. Why would I be, like, you are missing the point of the conversation.
Yeah, Robbie says that he thinks that he is a front runner and that he wouldn't say it because it would sound cocky. And then he turns out to be right because he does get a rose.
I do get it. It's probably fun to be on this show, right? Like, you get to travel the country and you get free food and drinks and hang out and, lay down on horses and all that fun stuff. But there's a logic to what Robbie was saying, which is like, if you're standing there and you're saying to yourself, like, she's definitely in love with Jordan Rogers, is there anything I can do to make her not in love with Jordan Rogers and instead in love with me? And if the answer is no, you gotta you gotta know, right?
I know. I know.
And they did know because Robbie got the rose, and then fucking Scott, what's his name? Chase. We got some things in our P.O. box. Thank you very much, P.O. Box 66639. I'm gonna say that one more time. I slurred it. P.O. Box 66639, Austin, Texas 78766. I think that's right. Oh, the receipt's right next to me. Confirming. Yes. One of them was here, let me grab it. One of them was from Erica, who lives here in Austin, who sent us a bunch of wonderful candles, including things like blueberries and paper airplanes. You can probably guess what that one smells like. And one that for Evan's ripped shirt, which smells like fresh laundry, which is fucking great. But then she sent one that's labeled Chase, and it is completely odorless. Which is maybe the best. Thank you very much, Erica. But I can't remember Chase's name. That's real. And James Taylor were in the car, and they were driving home from this group date that they did not get the rose from. By the way, for winning the group date, Robbie also got to spend more time with her. So that's a really good high stakes win, big victory he pulled down. And in the back of this car, James Taylor and Chase were just like, one of us is definitely going home, right? Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Because you know that Luke's going to get a rose. You know Jordan's going to get a rose. So, shit.
Yeah.
Their only gambit was to hope that Robbie did not get a rose. But
So Luke gets the final one-on-one date, which is also a horse date.
Hey, horse date 2, Black Ops.
So they ride horses out to a shooting range, and JoJo says something curious. When they get up to where the guns and hay bales are, she says, Luke's for sure a man. There's no doubt in my mind. Which I just thought, okay, JoJo.
He's definitely not 4 dogs stacked up. He's definitely not a little alien controlling a flesh suit like in Men in Black.
I knew that there were 2 horses on the date and 1 man, and for sure Luke was the man.
He's definitely not a man-shaped bag full of rats.
So they're shooting. Luke's showing her how to shoot. I don't know. Not a lot happens.
Nothing happens on this date. I was also thinking of things to talk about. They go and they talk about his family, and I think maybe this date lasts 4 minutes.
Yeah, I thought for sure. So they finish shooting, and I'm thinking, oh, they're going to have dinner. That's always a thing. When you get a one-on-one date, you have a day activity and a night activity.
He does not get a night activity.
Yeah. He goes back to the house. All the guys are like, hey, you're here soon. And he's like, oh, by the way, you guys don't know this yet, but we're going straight to a rose ceremony.
Yeah, so they have the rose ceremony that night. Chase is very worried because he was hoping to get some one-on-one time. James Taylor is just walking that green mile.
Yeah, so we already know that Robbie has a rose, but then no surprise, Luke and Jordan get roses. And so it's down to Chase and James Taylor. And Chase...
It's oh God, don't make me choose. Sophie's Choice. Which one of my children do I love the most? Such strong feelings about both of them. Don't make me choose.
Chase gets a rose. James Taylor does not.
I said don't make me choose.
Do you want to write down or do you want to speak to the closed caption you wrote down?
Oh my God, guys. This is going to be our Hayes in the Barn, which, by the way, somebody said during this episode. I think it was Luke, saying, she's already decided what she's going to do tonight, Hayes in the Barn. This is our Hayes in the Barn. This is going to be our meme that we get started, which is when Chase gets the rose, he walks forward, and she says, will you accept this rose? And I think he says, absolutely. But he kind of slurs it. Absolutely. And the closed captioning, which was not automatic. It was pre-done closed captioning. So somebody transcribed this and said, that's good. Send. Approve. Somebody also probably read it and said, yeah, that's it. That's good. How I transcribed the word absolutely was cholutely. That's CHOLUTELY. Cholutely. Cholutely, babe. Hey, would you let the cat in? Oh, cholutely. No problem. Cholutely. It's fun to say. Cholutely.
Griffin found this really, really funny, and I can't get there.
Cholutely, I did.
I can't get there, and I'm sorry.
You'll get there.
Okay. Let's just
I'll make you get
let's
there.
just keep saying it.
Okay.
JoJo's real sad to send James Taylor home. James Taylor says a bunch of heartbreaking things like, this happens to him all the time.
That's what he does.
He's like, I can't believe this is the last time I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to miss you. JoJo is very distraught. James gets in the limo. We expect for sure that James is going to just fall apart, but he remains very stoic.
Full-blown intervention dad. No dice.
Yeah,
No
does
dice.
not lose his cool. And that's the ep.
I don't want to sound mean to James Taylor. It's just like, that stuff he was saying was legitimately heartbreakingly sad, and it would have affected me even a little bit if the past 3 episodes he hadn't been just like a sad sack the whole time. Like, you gotta get in the game. It gets me so frustrated when people are just like, no, I've already lost and I don't think I should go talk to her. There was definitely less of that this season than there was in The Bachelor, Ben Higgins, the Axeman, which, by the way, when JoJo sent Alex home, shades of the Axeman. Calculated. Cool, calm, composed. I loved it. She was just like, you know what, you said that.
You were
and
just talking about how mad it made you because he wasn't supposed to go home.
I'm not mad at JoJo. I'm mad that the rug was pulled out from under Alex. JoJo may have pulled that rug, but Chris Harrison put that there, and he said, that rug is super glued to the ground with rubber cement. It'll never leave your sweet, petite little feet. That was dope. I like that. I like JoJo saying, I know what I want. I'm going to get it. And it ain't you. Absolutely, it's not you. Get home.
There you go. See, now I'm getting it.
I forget what I was talking about. Oh, James Taylor?
Yeah, you're just bummed that James Taylor doesn't think more of himself.
Just like, I get bummed when somebody's just like, everybody here's better than me, so I'm not going to do anything. Which, I get, I can't imagine how defeating it must feel to be in this position of knowing that this extremely handsome football god is going to beat you at this game that you're going to be playing in futility for the next 8 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, it's just people get so caught up in the game. Like, if he had any perspective at all, he would say, you know what? Like, she doesn't like me very much. I should probably go home. It's best for both of us. This kind of stuff happens. Sometimes people just don't want each other's foot juice.
Or if you just want to stay around and go to Argentina, see if you can stick it around till, whatever the next international date is. That's fine. Have fun on the television show, The Bachelorette. Genuinely have a good time, but be a sport about it. Get in the game, and at least pretend you're falling in love, like Robbie's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only person that really stuck out this season, and I'm sure somebody else did it, but Evan was really bad about this. About she'll come to me if she wants to talk. No, dude, she fucking won't. Play the game. Get in there.
Yeah.
Play the game. Everybody play the game. So I'd be right here. And you'd be
I cannot do that.
I'm just saying if you did.
I know, but your range is much better than mine.
I know. You don't have to. I'm just saying if you did, the notes would sound cool and weird together.
Oh, man. Should you find another host? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to get Josh Groban. And we're going to be called Grobe Buddies.
Oh, Griffin.
Or, alternatively, Groban Around.
I like the first one
with
better.
an apostrophe. What about Groban or Griffin?
That's good, too.
Grobe my...
See, now you just sound like Travis.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Travis went on a 15-minute Twitter tear.
Well, it's a funny name. What else? That's it.
That was
End of the
Rose
show.
Buddies.
That was Rose Buddies, the podcast. Stay tuned for the double feature, Groban Around. It was a good episode. We're into hometowns now. Who we got?
If you want to keep me on the show, dial in using your
in now.
touchtone phone.
No, I did.
Choose one
we're
for
doing
Rachel.
This show because we got to do a podcast together.
2 for Groban.
If Josh Groban replaces you, what is our other podcast going to be? Because now we have to do a podcast together.
Why do we have to do a podcast
Because it's the
together?
only thing holding us together. We both know it. Hey, we got some stuff.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for the gifts. We've been checking the P.O. Box about once a week. We got a bunch of cool stuff.
Got got a package here from Kira, and it's a bunch of onesies, and the onesies have quotes mostly from Chad, but sometimes just kind of like general things that they say on The Bachelor, like, I'm just a pig in a castle. My life is all blueberries and paper airplanes. What's up, you cool babies? That's a Mabim Bam reference. And my favorite, milk is delicious. These are fantastic.
Thank you for the onesies. They're adorable.
Package here from Tim, and it's another onesie that says most eligible bachelor. It's real
Very cute. Oh, yeah. Somebody made a little baby sweater.
Chantel made us a baby sweater with a Pokeball on it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. We got a little custom Rose Buddies tea from Allison. Tastes like strawberries and chocolate and roses. Wonderful, on brand.
Why don't you say the name of Erica's candle company?
Oh, yes. The candles that Erica sent us, her company is Wick Habit. And they smell all really, really great.
Yeah,
except of course, for Chase's, which does not possess a scent.
She did
which is fucking hysterical.
She did a honeysuckle one for Honeysuckle Robbie that smells unbelievable. And we got a lot of really nice postcards
really
and
sweet letters.
We got to save the date.
Got a save the date magnet that's holding up a report card right now on our fridge, I think.
The wedding does take place in Texas, so
We'll holler.
who knows?
We love to party.
We
Rachel
do.
Rachel right now is in a state where she just like fucking loves to party. Like nonstop.
I've got extra strength.
She'll get like a big thing of booze, and then she'll like make me drink all of it, but like make eye contact the whole time.
No, you know what I make you do? I make you pour it into a bucket, and I make you put your feet in it, and then I drink it.
Yeah, because she wants double bad things for our human child. Anything else? I guess we'll see you next week. We're going to be in Boston this weekend doing some live shows for the other podcast. Maybe we'll see some of you if you live in Boston and coming out to those shows. Otherwise, we'll be back in town in time for... Yeah, we're coming back in town Sunday, so we'll be back for next week. Hometowns. Just stay real out there. Until next time, I'm Griffin McElroy.
I'm Rachel McElroy.
When you're ready.
Final rose. Stay with us on this journey of joy.
Spoiler alert.
She ends up with Soldier Boy.
Right reasons, can't get enough.